Alright, Fuggins. You've been asking me to do another LCW Untold story for the rise and fall of LCW. LCW was Lone Star Championship Wrestling. It was founded by Gary Austin and a guy we all used to know, Joe Sikoris, who now wrestles as Matt Harmon. Back then he wrestled as Prodigy Fake. Sorry, Prodigy Snake. Close enough. There's a lot of chapters I could be going over. There's a lot of things I could be going over. I believe I left it off last time at the Gary Austin Invitational and the complete crack bucking show that turned out to be. Wasn't good at all. A lot of problems there. But I'm going to talk about rising rookies tonight. And what I mean by rising rookies is, yeah, we had guys that came in from other companies. I got made a member of the booking committee. I got made a chairman of the company. I did have power for booking. I did have power in who came in, who was offered contracts. Because not only did Joe go out and grab people, Gary gave me the permission to bring people in, even for tryout matches. If we liked what we seen, we'd offer them a contract with LCW. So we did bring some people in, and there's two names that I want to mention for this, especially for rising rookies, that really, came to that us in LCW and left with a name for themselves. Both of them had a name in the beginning. One of them is Dustin Dynamite. Now, before anyone, comes back and comments at me about Dustin's current situation, and yes, he is behind bars right now. Everyone makes mistakes. Dustin, I love you, brother. I had my last match in LCW with you. I even dropped the title to you. Look, man, people make mistakes, and, you still got a friend here, bro. Anyway, Dustin showed up on the scene of a company that was, kind of everywhere, really. They didn't really have, like, a home very long. They kind of moved around. Streeter, Spring Valley, Peru, Lysell. We'll get to that. But, yeah, they went around for a while, and Dustin started in not even FYW. I don't even really like talking about them. There's a lot of bad blood there. But I will admit that $1,700 of damage I did to the car, if you will, after they broke my ex-wife's arm by pushing her down the stairs at Michelle's back street. Yeah, let's be frank there, Manahan boys. That damage to the car was done with your bodies. It's not nice to sit in a bar and get completely shit-faced drunk and throw a beer at somebody. Then when they go outside to cool down, you push their wife down the stairs. Look what happens. For two tough boys, I shouldn't have been able to whoop you both and your daddy. And you ran and hid the car like little bitches. Enough about that. But no, Dustin actually started in HWA, which was the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance. And a lot of people have gotten that mixed up, thinking I had problems with HWA. Because, yeah, a lot of the hybrids were in FYW. No. Never once had an issue with anyone that wrestled for the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance. None of you. I only had problems with Mike Manahan and Kyle Manahan. And that was years ago. I'm not even married to the same woman anymore. All that beef's been let go. I've even seen Kyle personally at out shopping and running errands, and we've stopped and talked, and past is the past, and we all clean slated it. Me and Kyle still haven't talked yet, but me and Mike have, and we both agreed shit happens. Fuck, we were all drunk that night. Let it go. But yeah, back to Dustin. Dustin had some great matches with the hybrids. He got invited to wrestle on FYW. I didn't meet Dustin until was it Christmas at Caution? It was either Christmas at Caution or New Year's Revolution. Both times I faced Prodigy Snake. Was defeated at Christmas at Caution. I came back in New Year's Revolution and actually started showing what I can do. But yeah, I met Dustin at one of those events, and I instantly knew, like, this kid is gonna have what it takes to be a top guy in this business. We call him Dustin Dynamite, and I even gave him the name for his finishing maneuver, which was his buzzsaw kick to the head. I called it the Dynamite kick because this kick could kick you so hard it would sound like an explosion. And it was no cheap pop. We didn't use any, like, filters on the camera, nothing like that. No, it was straight him kicking you to where it sounded amazing. No, he wasn't going out there and, like, kicking guys' heads off, purposely trying to hurt them or anything like that. But Dustin could land that kick, and the fans that were watching legitimately thought his opponent was out cold. He could, shit. When you look at styles, Dustin Dynamite could do high flying. He could do submission. He could do technical wrestling. He could brawl. And I know for a fact, by wearing the Punisher mask for the other gimmick that I had, was the Punisher. Not FYW, not in HWA, but LCW's Punisher was me. But wrestling him in the hardcore matches that we had against one another, Dustin is 5'8", I believe, 5'9". I would put him and Rey Mysterio kind of like pretty close. And I'm 6'4", close to 300 pounds. I have wrestled luchador style. I have wrestled hardcore style in HCW. I have wrestled technical style on the indie scenes. And I have blended those styles. So when, Dustin came in LCW, we were all interested in, hey, we've seen your work, we know you can. But you worked for those other companies. We're interested in the work you can do for this company. Dustin goes, book me with somebody, give me a match, give me a chance. If you don't like what I have, that's it. We'll shake hands, we'll leave. Cool, it's understandable. I think Dustin's first contract we signed him to in LCW, I sat at the table with Joe and Gary and kind of went over everything, and I believe it was seminars he got $50 for. Yeah, I know it sounds low at first, but remember this was just coming. I believe recorded appearances, recorded matches. For his matches, he would get 1 to 300, depending on the match type. So, starting out, that's not bad, especially working indies. That's good. I know some people hot dog and a handshake, $20 here, $10 here. But yeah, Dustin, it wasn't me that lowballed you on that contract in the end. That was Joe, actually. I was already stepping out of the company by then. But Dustin, in my mind, is one of the top rising rookies that Lone Star Championship Wrestling ever had. He went from coming in as, kind of unknown to everyone that was in the company to earning an international title match. That was LCW's second title. We had the LCW World title, the LCW International title, the LCW Tag Team belts, and the LCW Extreme title. Dustin won the international title. Now, we put in a stipulation that if the international champion could defend his title 3 times, he would be awarded the deal that he could cash in the international title. That was voted by the entire committee. I thought it was alright, because you don't want to keep guys, locked down forever that could move up into the main event picture, and we figured that was a way we could do it. Seemed weird at first, but it actually worked out for us. Dustin cashed in his international title on the very show that I beat Matt Harmon, who wrestled back then as Prodigy Snake in a table match for the LCW World Title. It was a rematch from the first event, in where Joe Sikora's Prodigy Snake, Matt Harmon, wherever he's going by now. Hi Joe, it's nice to see you. Passes the past, just trying to explain everything that happened from my standpoint. But no, he came out after I beat Joe, instantly hung his title up. I took the world title and held it up in the air. He signified that he was going to challenge me at the next event. We had to think of a match that we could do. And I knew at the time I was wrestling with a torn ACL on my right leg, as well as scar tissue built up really bad on my left because I had previous surgeries on both. I knew I wasn't going to last for a while. I was pushing myself every event to keep wrestling. On one of the matches I had with Dustin, my knee actually blew, and that was when I tore my ACL. It's kind of hard to explain, but we went for a spot. He was coming off the ropes. I ducked his clothesline. He crisscrossed, came back from the ropes, and I was to super kick him. Well, Dustin runs faster than a motherfucker when he wants to. And he came kind of quicker than I expected. And when I extended, I ran into like the full force of his momentum to my leg that was already kind of injured at the moment. And it completely tore my ACL apart. Dustin, I didn't even have to tell, don't worry about it, keep going, keep the match going. He just kept going. And he kept asking me, hey, you okay? Put me in a headlock with the whole, back drop kick. Didn't have to explain what he needed to do. He already knew it. So, yeah, he gets me up to my feet, and, we finish the match. I give him the last ride. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. And that's, that was it. Now, back to the match. We had it set between me and Dustin. We wanted a cage match. It would have been LCW's first cage match, and the owner was behind it 110%. Gary goes brilliant. And I actually campaigned for this match to happen in the cage. Because you got me standing 6'4", close to 300 pounds. I love the hardcore style of wrestling. I love the power style of wrestling. I can brawl. What a lot of people don't realize is I do have a background in jiu-jitsu. I can do a lot of technical wrestling, submission style, catch can, shoot, if you will. So we're like, you know what? Put him in the cage with me. Let's do a cage match. At that point, I've had 3 under my belt and have never lost one yet. I'm still recording and you're in your bra. So, sorry about that. My wife just got out of the shower, wanted to make sure she wasn't going to be like right there on camera. But no, we decided it was going to be a ladder match instead of a cage match. And kind of sucked. Because me and Dustin had our mind set up that it should be a cage match. Dustin's being a lot smaller than me. It was already booked that I was going to drop the title to him so I could have knee surgery and heal up, because by that point I was burned out. I was wrestling for the last 9 months. Like I said, torn ACL on one knee, scar tissue on another, but paycheck's a paycheck, if you will. So we bring up the idea to the rest of the board, and being I was on the booking committee, it was my job to kind of push the match for a cage match. We ended up buying a legitimate cage, had the venue set up, and Gary was all for it. We only had one person naysay it, and we needed a unanimous vote, which kind of sucked. And honestly, the only reason why Matt Harmon shot that match down is he wanted to be in the cage. But let's be honest, you can't really depend on him to show up back then for an event. You could more depend on him to be at the bottom of a Jack Daniels or Evan Williams bottle. Yeah, there's a whole fucking 3 chapters I've done about this already. Sorry, Harmon, but truth to truth, back then drinking was a giant problem with you. Hot dog and wanting the spotlight for yourself, so you shot down the cage match. Well, alright. So now we have 2 days until it's time for the Battle Zone, which is where I drop the title to Dustin. And we're fucking beating our heads off the wall trying to figure out why they shot it. Why won't they let this cage match happen? The cage has already been bought. No answer. I'm like, alright. I said, Dustin, come with me for a second. So me and Dustin went back in the locker room. We shooed everyone else out of it. I said, look, Gary's just got done telling me. Joe's at home. He's not showing up. He's hungover like a motherfucker. He's been doing his pills again. He's been drinking. Gary's had it with it. Gary's given me permission to, if this is the match I'm dropping the title, I should be allowed to make the match. I was like, Jesus, Gary, this is, the day of the fucking event. What do you want me to pull something out of my ass in like the last hour? Okay, well, Dustin was sitting there. I'm like, what can we do? Iron Man match. Have me kick the shit out of you like the first 2 falls, or, first fall and have you come back. 3 stages of hell match, should we do submission and, street fight? What the fuck can we do? And Dustin had like this light bulb go off in his head. He goes, dude, let's do a ladder match. Well, okay, I had one, and that was an attack one. I was like, well, yeah, I can see that, ladder match, I can end up coming out strong, looking like I'm smashing the shit out of you in the match. And with your high flying ability, the ladder match kind of caters to you as well. So, yeah, let's do it. So, event goes, according to plan. Everyone had great matches. Hellraiser took on Black Rose. I remember that match. That was amazing. We had RJ Osborne, the Abomination, was our current Extreme Champion. He took on 2 people, actually. He took on Overkill and the Lysel Rebel in a street fight for the Extreme title. In that match, that was some good shit. RJ retained his belt. Some good table spots, some good chair spots. The trash can spot was just nasty. And as big as a guy, anyone that knows RJ, as big as he is, coming off the ladder with a tornado DDT and slamming Overkill's head not only out of the trash can but completely through the bottom of it. Yeah, that was a hell of a spot. I still have that saved. Anyway, we go to mine and Dustin's match. Well, me and Dustin are behind the curtain and we're going over all the spots. We're like, dude, we've really had to throw this match together in the hour that we've had. Is there anything you want to do? And we got everything down. I'm going to get him in the corner. I'm going to put the ladder between his legs running, give him the old baseball drop kick for fan effect. Ladder goes in the nuts, stuff like that. We got the finish to the match. Like, all right, we can do this. We got this. Right before we're ready to step out of the curtain, I believe Dustin's music was actually playing at the time. Dustin goes to walk out, and Gary stops us. He goes, hey, Joe just called. I told him you're doing the ladder match. He says, that's fine. He looks at me and goes, Ark, which I wrestled as Archangel. He goes, you're going to climb up the ladder to grab the title to retain it. And the title's going to go up in the air to where you can't reach it. Wait, what? What? Like, what the fuck? So what the fuck you mean the title's going to go up in the air where I can't reach it? He goes, we're going to have someone raising the belt up to where you can't reach it. Okay, so we've been building this title match between me and Dustin for the last month and a half. We've had an hour to figure out the match because we got fucked out of what we were going to do. Now you're telling me I'm going to drop the title to Dustin because it's going to seem like someone was raising the belt and screwing me out of it? No, fuck that. All you're going to do is make Dustin look weak, you know? Dustin don't deserve that. He deserved to beat me for the title legitimately, and I trail off in the sunset to recoup the injuries, and Dustin carries the title. Nope. Joe says we're going to have someone keep raising the belt every time you go for it. Whatever, dude. Let's just get this match done. Because at that point, I was just sick of it. I was sick of Harmon's bullshit. I was done with it. I was like, you know what? I'm wrestling injured. I'm burned out. I've been doing, 3 to 4 events a month. It's time to be done with it. Well, me and Dustin go out there, and even to this day, if you go back on LCW's matches on YouTube, the internet pay-per-view buy rates, just for that match, I believe we made $5,000 at the door. Internet buy rate, I mean, we had a hell of a paycheck after that event between me and him. And it was literally a match that got thrown together within an hour because it all got scrapped and changed, and it was left to me and Dustin to figure out, okay, what are we doing? Well, the match goes off. Me and Dustin are just hammering the shit out of each other. It got to the point we realized we had a table that would not frickin' break no matter what we did. I mean, as fat as my ass is, I jumped from, I believe it was a 12-foot ladder with a frog splash on a Dustin, and the table, like, my impact hit him and we bounced. It would not break. Later on in the match, Dustin hits me with a swanton, the table still don't break. We threw that table away and said, fuck it, we're not doing it. Literally, like, Dustin folded the legs back up and just threw it down and said, nope. Got a lot of fans involved in the match. We grabbing weapons. I got beer thrown in my face from Dustin. Dustin sat there drinking the other guy's beer. Had a lot of fun with this match. And yeah, it's still the most viewed match on YouTube right now. It's got also the most comments. It's well liked, and sadly, I know the person's account that it's in, he's still making money off that. Kind of stings, but you know, it is what it is. But me and Dustin had a really good match, and that's why I said, Dustin, if, you know, I got asked when it comes to a rising rookie, if you will, and someone that started in the company kind of as a nobody and came up. Now, I got to put it clearly. I would not have, being I had creative control over my character and I had booking power to decide who loses the titles, where it goes, I would not have said, okay, yeah, I'll drop the title to Dustin had I not thought that he could carry the title and carry the company, because Dustin got the belt off me the second year we had this company off the ground. We started in backyards with the ring, doing birthday parties for people, bingo halls, in the mall parking lot. Shit, we even did the oh god, I can't think of what it's called now, but out in Earlville, the movie thingy out there.
Drive-in theater.
Thank you. The drive-in theater, we had a huge fucking show there. Sold out the entire grounds to where we had people telling us we were at full capacity for our drive-in. Like, we couldn't fit anymore out there. So yeah, after we started making money and getting successful, I would not have dropped the belt to Dustin if I hadn't thought that this was a guy that could lead the company while I was away healing. Now, at that point, I was going to recuperate from injuries and come back. It was set that, video signets would start showing up after matches and stuff of, counting down a timer, and eventually I'd come back. And instead of as a heel, I was supposed to come back as a face, and we were going to book it that once Harmon got out of his rehab for the sixth or seventh time, actually, that he was going to come back as heel with his group, and, he'd be taking on Dustin, and I'd return to help him. All right, well, that sounds good. Gary pitched the idea, and I was like, yeah, that works, If you're going to have a return eventually coming back from injury, you need a reason, something. Well, that's not how it happened. And it was because of the fact of, I go up and climb the belt, and me and Dustin are putting on a show. We could barely hear each other in the ring. And every time I'd go up for the ladder, after Gary told me behind the curtain before the match, hey, every time you go for the belt's going to lift in the air, making it look like you got screwed. Alright. So I think I climbed the belt, it was like 3-4 fucking times. And every time, sure enough, the belt goes up in the air. Man, I told him not to be doing this, because then it's just going to look like Dustin won the title by me getting screwed. Sure enough, every time. Finally, the last time, Dustin, me and Dustin are on the ground. I fell off the ladder, landed on my back, and Dustin comes over and he's like, alright, dude, we need to start wrapping this up. We're getting the cue. I was like, alright. What we had set up is we had a table in the middle of the ring, and Dustin had put light tubes on it, which anyone that ever followed LCW Masters, you remember the light tubes. That was something we were known for. Well, table set up. I'm climbing up the ladder to retrieve the belt. Dustin's beat down. He's slowly climbing up. Well, he's dragging a light tube with him that I don't see, and he cracks me dead center in the middle of the forehead with it. As I'm kind of hunched over the ladder and my head's facing towards him, he uses the support of the ladder and uses it to jump, landing his dynamite kick to my head. I fall off the ladder, crash through the table, the light tubes. I'm out cold. Dustin reaches up, grabs the belt down, match is over. Alright. Well, there was a giant show of respect. I could barely stand up at the end of that match. My legs were shot. I had them both braced and heavily taped underneath my pants. But, anyone that knows wrestling could look at it and see I was working hurt. There was a giant show of respect there. I raised Dustin's hand, even handed him the title. Grabbed the microphone and cut a promo stating that I was leaving. But, I told the fans not to worry. They now have a champion they can stay behind. I ended up going in the house. When I got back, I set my bags at right by the door. I no more than got out of the bathroom from taking a piss, because that was a 2.5 hour drive back. My phone goes off. Oh, fuck. It's Joe. And as soon as I answered it, he starts going off. He goes, hey, you said you were going to recoup your legs and you needed some time off. I was like, well, yeah, I am. He goes, well, what's this shit I hear you're taking a booking for HCW? I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, what would it matter? I said, the booking's not me doing a match. The booking is me literally special reffing a match between James Adams, who wrestled as Prophecy, who is someone I actually trained since he was the age of 12 to wrestle, going against Chris Reed for the UWF international championship. I was being brought in as a outside enforcer. It wasn't going to be wrestling, nothing like that. Wasn't even really helping promote the company, even though it was a company I founded and started. I sold the rights to Brian. I sold the rights to Chris. They've now taken that company and they're still doing shows in Aurora, Chicago, and everything else. What later became Windy City Wrestling. After Windy City closed, HCW took over its territory. Now, he's flipping out on me on the phone. He's like, you know what, you can't be doing this. You're supposed to be out and done. It's going to make us look bad. I was like, dude, everyone knows I've worked with that company since day one. Now, in my contract with LCW, I clearly stated that and had it put in writing and signed by the attorneys that no, I am allowed to take other bookings. And Gary didn't have an issue with that. The only person that had an issue with that was Joe because he wasn't going to be making money off of it. He's like, all right, you know what? You can take your injuries, you can take your time off, but don't even bother coming back. And I was like, dude, I just gave you 2 years of busting my ass to help you and Gary with this company. Where the fuck do you get off telling me not to come back? I said that furthermore, if I really want to pull that dick move, I have a contract that states I have a rematch clause. Well, fuck you and your rematch clause. Alright, dude. So I'll tell you what, you can take this company, because by that point, everything, we ended up losing 4 competitors within a weekend, thanks to Joe's drinking problems. He was knocked out by the LCW Rebel in Rebel's house, in his kitchen, because of his drinking problems. Everyone was just fed up with him. And sadly, when I had that fuck it moment and told Gary, look, I'm not going to renew my contract when I come back. I'm going to HCW. I'm going with Powerhouse. I'm going back to Dreamwave. Like, I'm done with it. I'm not doing this. Gary goes, look, man, I understand. I'm sorry. Dustin was hurt by it badly because he wanted that rematch with me and it never came to tuition. However, Dustin did end up signing a contract with HCW. As much as Joe wants to be butthurt about it to this day, he was offered close to $3,000 more than what he would have made in the quarter. Plus 25% of all merchandise sales of his, plus 20% of the door, which is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's definitely on the better side of one. Yeah, I ended up taking and getting my knees looked at, and the same ring doctor I've had for many years that's cleared me for matches, even though, let's be honest, he shouldn't have. He goes, look, you're towards the end, you burned out. I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. And it was kind of hard to hit. And I was like, all right, you know what? I should have a retirement match, be done with it, and walk out. I was like, I should have my retirement match against Dustin, put my career on the line. Against the title, there's my rematch clause. Me versus Dustin, career versus title. Well, that got played on the radio. And we booked the match on the radio. We booked it on the internet. We did a podcast for the internet pay-per-view to where Dustin challenged me to a title match. And I told him, look, I'm going to put my career against your belt. I'm coming back for it and I'm taking it with me. If we're going to spend $2,500 on production and promotion ads for that match, then that match needs to frickin' happen. Instead, we got me against LCW Rebel, no title, in a retirement match, and I'm booked to lose. Now, I don't care how much you say it. I don't care how much you fucking preach about it, dude. That was only because of one man, and I've already mentioned him enough times in this video. He knows it was him. He gets out of rehab that day, talks the owner of the company to booking him in the title match against Dustin. Not only booking him in the title match I was supposed to be in, that we've already paid for the promotion for, but books himself to beat Dustin for the belt. We spent 2 years building this dude up, and he's going to be beaten by some fucking drunk that can barely even carry himself in a match. That was my cue right then. I was set to beat Ricky the LaSalle Rebel in that match. I took him backstage. I said, dude, we're going to work the match exactly how we've already gone over and rehearsed it, but I'm taking the fall. You're beating me. I don't want to hear anything of it. And, at first he's jumping my ass going, dude, no, I'm not doing this. I said, look. I sat him down. I said, look, I'm burned out. I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of going back and forth. I need time away. Like, I'm done. And Ricky, back then, me and Ricky were really close. He goes, alright, man, I can do this for you. Like, I'm going to catch hell for it, but we got this. Went out and did the match. Had a hell of a match. I knew it was going to be my last match. Well, thought it was going to be my last match. Sorry, people. Well, went out there and had a great match. And, yeah, ref gets knocked down, and who comes out? Prodigy Snake. With a ref shirt. So not only do you gotta fuck me out of the match that we had set up, but now you're gonna interfere in my match as the fucking ref without telling me ahead of time? Alright, douchebag, I'll make you earn it. So yeah, needless to say, the ref got hit in that match quite a few times. In fact, it was Ricky who busted the light tube, and then, knowing the light tube was already broke, smoked him in his skin grafts purposely. Because everyone was tired of him. He ran RJ out of the business completely. He had charges brought up on him for his ex-girlfriend's daughter. There was just so much shit that everyone was sick of. And now he's going to interfere in my match. Well, there was a spot, and a lot of people remember this spot in the match. The trash can was put over Joe's head. Now, it was supposed to be Ricky hitting him with the steel chair. Instead, Ricky gets low blowed. I took brass knucks out of my tights, slid them on my hand, and got a running start. And I punched the trash can while it was on Joe's head, causing Joe to drop down and what later turned out to be a massive concussion. Well, honestly, I'm not sorry for it. You kind of had that coming. I'm sorry it gave you lasting effects. But you know what, dude? You screwed so many of the boys over. It got to the point, it was hell working with you. And you screwed Dustin over, really. Like, it was because of you his career started going down, when he was one of the best rising stars we had. Yeah, I can't even really talk about this much more because I'm getting pissed off about it, but yeah, when it comes to rising stars and it comes to rookies that not only really got their name in LCW but helped build the company, there's no one that comes to mind more than Dustin. I mean, honorable mention would be Hillbilly Dean. Another guy I had a lot to work with. I mean, me and my brother Cavi kind of nurtured him in BLW. He was offered a contract with LCW under circumstances that he worked both companies, so that way we weren't stealing talent. We even cross-promoted BLW's events. Sadly, that company went under pretty quickly because everyone came to LCW instead, because we actually held training seminars and The guys that, weren't at that level yet, we got them to that point. But yeah, Dean would have been another mention in this video for Rising Stars, because Dean can work with anybody. He could take an ass whooping and keep getting up. He didn't mind what match he was put in. He showed up every day. He showed up to the training. He was a legit worker. But yeah, that was my, the two Rising Stars of LCW. And how I ended up leaving the company. The next the next video I'll be doing will be the HCW Uprising show that we had in Aurora, Illinois, at the Armory, National Guard Armory, sold out house, and what led to LCW jumping the barricade and getting involved in the event, and what happened when they did. Or should I say what was left of LCW at the time. But that'll be my next one for the Untold Stories LCW. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, and I'll see you guys later.